of the academic programs at Prairie View A&M University, and I'm originally from Sri Lanka. Right, Sri Lanka is a tropical island in the Indian Ocean, and I studied my first degree there, and then I went to England for my master's, and then my PhD in Hong Kong University. That is the place actually I got opportunity to interact with a lot of the Asian community and explore the wealth of the plant life in those regions, and I was able to discover 29 plant species new to the science, and so that continues exploring the life of these plant species, how we can use it in the human usage. So we have two USDA funded projects. One is to farm to pharmacy, that is to introduce underutilized edible plant species to the American food system, and the other one is to uncover certain medicinal properties in the plant species and how they can grow in Texas, because Texas has subtropical climatic conditions where we can actually grow some of these plant species as cash crops and then introduce to the table, right? And those are the two. And apart from that, and I'm also leading the cannabis research in Texas, and we are now characterizing all the cannabis germplasm available in the United States. So it's a big project, about 2 million I got from USDA to study that, and I'm working with USDA ARS also to study the quality of the fiber in cannabis. So today this talk actually I have given now so many times, and again I am talking in Houston next week about this. So when we my talk involves about the medicinal plants, and what are they called medicinal plants, why they are called medicinal plants, and that is because they have unique chemistry, and we looked at the different the chemical compositions, and then the diversity of the importance and diversity of the plant-based diet, right? And the people are now moving into more plant-based diet because they have unique molecules which can help our the health, and then various kind of different plant species, medicinal vegetables, leafy greens, microgreens, medicinal grains, and then now in US we have a lot of culinary herbs, right? But we have some more to explore as culinary herb, right? We only focus on to a few known culinary herbs like the parsley, celery, rosemary, and so on. But there are so many we have not explored in this part of the world. And then we will come to the medicinal spices. Spices are the flavoring and coloring the food, and they have health benefits. But in the US food system, it's moving towards more synthetic flavoring and synthetic coloring. But we have a lot of plant-based coloring and the flavoring agents there. So we are going to go through all these, and Peter, who's taking, right? So when we look at the whole plant life in this world, we have described and documented about 500,000 different plant species from the world, right? So they are in different groups, and some are forest species, some are timber species, right? Some are used for the medicine, some are used for the food, and only few plants are in the mainstream food crops, right? Like corn, right, potato, rice, those are the major crop species. But there are a lot of other the plant species give more nutrition to the human health. So those are called medicinal plants, and there are about 70,000 medicinal plant species identified so far from all over the world. The good thing in Texas is the climate. We can grow more of these plants in this soil and this climate, and then we can start using it, right? So when we look at the medicinal plant diversity, the tropical countries have more diverse medicinal plant because they have more plant diversity there, right? And their environment is more favorable to grow these plant. Because of that, in those countries, the people are still believing on plant-based medicine than going to a doctor when they get sick, right? So if you go to Africa, if you go to Asia, the poorest countries, but they have unique way of using the plant-based medicine for their day-to-day, the health needs, when they get cold, flu, they don't take any Western medicine. They go for the plants available in their backyard. Take a branch of the leaves, boil and drink as a tea, and they are fine, right? And also these plants, they used in their food in a continuous way. In that way, they get those certain bioactive compounds to the system that will prevent uncommunicable diseases. So those can be high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, right? Those are actually compounds that will block the disease right from the beginning. So that is the beauty in the food cultures in those countries and the plant they used in the food. Ultimately, what you eat is your health. Food is medicine, right? Before we discover all these medicines, people were relying on the plant they have around them, right? You go to the forest, grab some plants, grab some mushrooms, grab some roots, and they survived, right? And so those mechanisms gradually went through the human civilization and the evolution. Those who were registered into our genetic system, gene system, right? So that is how we started liking certain plant species, right? When you peel the orange, you smell the orange, and then you know that is orange, right? And then you want to have it, right? All these are connected with the genes, right? The plant gives the signal, and we get the signal from our genes, and then we want to eat it, right? And now, as humans, we have geographically and politically distributed and isolated. But when we take as a species, we are all same, right? Although we have different colors, we are same species, right? So the different colors and different geographies means we have unique genetics there, right? When you look at their food habits, they are different, right? And when we go deeper into their food, we found they have very unique chemicals they are taking from their food, and they have ability, those isolated groups in Africa, Asia, all these remote areas, they have unique ability to prevent certain diseases, right? So when it comes to America, it is multicultural, and the people started adopting the food culture here, but your genetics needs the food or the chemicals you had in your ancestors, right? So this is where we miss the bus, right? So we started eating all the process, and looking good though, right? But are we getting the right nutrients and the right secondary metabolites? Those are the ones mostly important, because for the humans we need carbohydrates for the energy, we need proteins for the hormones and the muscles and growth, right? And we need vitamins and the minerals for the general body growth, right? But for the prevention of the diseases, we need unique group of molecules. Those are the ones come in the food as colors, aromas, different taste, right? So when you look at the ancient human food, it included all these, right? Different colors in there, different flavors there, different aromas there. But when it comes to the current food, we are lacking a lot of these, right? The colors are replaced by artificial coloring agent. Flavors are replaced by the artificial flavors, and basically we are getting a load of protein, carbohydrates, fats, right? But we are missing some good stuff in our food. So this presentation is to give you some examples of the plant species we can grow in Texas and we can add into our food culture, and that will you may see the differences when you start using them, right? So let's go through, right? So as I said, when you take the plant makes the food, right? Plant makes the food through the sunlight, right? It takes the sunlight, and then through the photosynthesis process, plant make food, right? So that food is the carbohydrate, fatty acids and proteins and so on. But when the plant is growing in this environment, plant has problems, right? Plant get stress just like us, right? It can be stress from the sun, stress from the water availability, stress from the insects, stress from the other microbes which can kill the plant. So they need to make their own defense mechanisms. So they make something called secondary metabolites to defend themselves, right? So when we take plant as food, those chemicals are going to our system, and those chemicals are going to work differently than inside the plant tissues when it goes to the human system, right? So those are the preventive molecules for the most of the non-communicable diseases, right? So just to show you the secondary metabolites, and it contains various chemical groups, right? Some are colorful, flavorful, and some are not really giving colorful, flavorful, but they are having very, very unique, like sometimes they can mimic our hormones, right? But they are not real hormone in our body, but when it comes to the body, it mimics, right? So we can use them, right? Because our system always, from birth to puberty, and then start declining all these biosynthetic pathways, right? That is called aging, right? So with the aging, we will lose some of the good properties in our body, like hormone balancing, right? Taking your blood pressure, functioning your electrolytes. All these can decline with the aging process, but through the food we can take it back, just like you are changing your oil in your car, right? Something like that, right? So let's go. So I know this is not very clear, but you can go through your the prints. I just want to show you some of the major popular medicines we are using today are discovered from the plant, or discovered from the plant and further developed to this mainstream medicine, right? Good examples are opium poppy, right? Gives morphine, and then Madagascar periwinkle we are growing in the plants here outside, and still the most active compounds you give, or the medicine give to the childhood leukemia, is extracted and isolated from Madagascar periwinkle plant. Vincristine and vinblastine, those are the two given to the childhood leukemic conditions. And then the aspirin comes from the willow bark, right? And those days they didn't know about aspirin, but when you get body aches, fever, they go and grab some willow bark, boil it, concentrate it and drink, and you're fine for the next day, right? But now you see the drug companies tapped all these resources and looked at it carefully, isolated it, and they started making them in the labs, and it's a big business now, right? But sometimes the active molecule alone won't work, so they need to have the natural other molecules combining to make it more active in the body. That is called something like bioavailability, right? So they miss that, right? Certain compounds needs certain other compounds to make them bioavailable. That is why they ask you to take this pill after the meal, because they know when you take a meal, those chemicals are there, so that will help to work better in your system. Sometimes the active compounds interact with certain molecules and make it toxic for you. So they ask you to avoid the meal when you are taking this pill, right? And drink plenty of water, because it needs to flush out from the body. But when it comes to the plant-based, it never get toxic, right? The plant-based food, it never get toxic. But if there is a toxicity, you feel it. You feel, oh, that's enough for me, I don't want any more. That means the brain takes the signal, that is the threshold in that certain plant, right? You can't drink coffee the whole day, right? There is a limit. You feel that, oh, that's enough now, right? Because there is a threshold for caffeine in the system, right? Now what we do is, we are using energy drinks with load of caffeine, right? So you take the too much of caffeine into the system and you disturb the whole thing, right? So the caffeine contained in Red Bull, if you isolate and inject it to the body, it will stop your heart. Right? So now you see where the industry goes, right? Where our health, right? So you need to be very, very aware of these things, and but it is our own health, right? If we take care of our health, we will be fine, right? If you know what you eat, you will be fine, yeah, right? But we are not living 100 years or so, but at least to live the best part, right, of the life, right? Okay. So, and the other thing is now, I don't know whether you can see clearly in the print. Now, one picture I took from Thailand, the other one I took from HEB, to show you the diversity of the plant-based diet in our system. See the colors, shapes in the system versus the HEB or any other grocery in here. You see, most of the greens belongs to one plant family. The cabbage, crucifer, mustard green, collard green, all these belongs to same plant family. That means their chemicals are same. So that means we are taking the similar kind of secondary metabolites in our diet. Whereas in Thailand system, you see the roots, different colors of roots, different colors of fruits, right? And different colors of greens. I mean the types of greens. They have different tastes. So the diversity. So this is why the food culture is rich that part, right? And but we have not embraced that here. Although we are multicultural here, we are, get used to the American, the corrupted kind of food culture here, right? But we had very rich food culture before, but it was completely destroyed, right? When our ancestors came here from different parts of the world, they brought good food, right? But we were, overtaken by the other food. Looks good, tastes good, but not really healthy, right? So this is the era we are going through that. But people are now getting more educated, and they have access to the other parts of the world. They travel, they look YouTube videos, how they cook, what they cook, and they are curious, and they go for the markets and try them. So we want you to try these new vegetables you see in the market. Now you see H Mart, Hong Kong market, and Fiesta. All these carries different vegetables, edible plants, but sometimes you don't touch them, right? So our duty is to introduce these things and how good they are, and then how we can fix it to according to our taste buds, and introduce to the food culture in the US market. So now this one is about the some of the medicinal plants we can grow in Texas, right? You see the snake gourd, bitter gourd, and the bottle gourd, right? All these are growing very well in Texas climate, right? So snake gourd has a very unique compound which can prevent cancer, right? All these belongs to the cucumber family, tastes like cucumber, except the bitter gourd. Bitter gourd is bitter, but when you eat it, you will find it is not bitter like beer, right? It is better than beer, right? So what you need to know is how to fix it, right? The snake gourd as the name implies, it like a snake. It's long, right? Scary looking. But when you cut, it has a hollow. You can, uh, put some ground meat or potatoes inside it and grill it nicely and eat it. It's a nice dish, right? So if you search in YouTube videos how to cook snake gourd, there are so many, right? In those countries, they make it in different ways. And when I was in University of Mississippi, I had a similar program introducing these plants to the Mississippi farmers, and they actually came up with nice recipes. They filled those cylinders with various mixtures, sometimes meat, cheese, and various other the meats, ground meat, and grill it, sprinkled with Parmesan cheese, olive oil, and they loved it, right? And now some of them are growing it and eating, and that prevent the cancer, various cancers from our body. The bitter gourd is now getting popular, and it comes as a capsules also now. And I saw the other day in Houston, they sell bitter gourd juice in the canisters, right? Bitter gourd has a chemical compound that can lower your blood sugar very quickly, right? So although it is bitter, right, if you eat 5 grams of bitter gourd, that is about 1/4 of a fruit, right? Within 5 minutes, if you check your blood sugar level, you see huge difference, right? So people didn't know about it, right? But they added these veggies into their food system, right? And there are so many ways to prepare it. And not only that, bitter gourd seeds has a unique compound. About a couple of years ago, scientists isolated the fatty acid in that seed can prevent breast cancer, right? So it is okay to eat the seeds now, right? Sometimes when we get the bitter gourds, when they harvest little late, the seeds get little harder, but they are crunchy, right? You can eat them when you are cooking. Or when you get the young one, don't remove the seeds, right? The young seeds you can slice with it and you can eat. You will get the anti-cancer compound also right there, right? And like that. And then the Loki or the bottle gourd, it has a unique compound that will prevent absorbing fats, right? When you eat a lot of fat, right, it absorbs into the system, right? That is why you get excess fat deposited in various parts of the body, right? It started from the internal organs, right? And then it started coming to the peripheral system. And according to our genetics, the fat deposition is different. That is why you get more fat in different part of the body. But when it goes to the inside organs, right, when fat deposits on inside organs, they can't work properly, right? Especially heart, liver, the kidneys. If you have fat bodies around, it is really hard for them to the work, because you need to those fat cells, you need to feed them, right? You need to give blood supply, you need to give nutrients, but the fat is just keep growing, right? So this plant you can cook like any other squash, or you can juice it and drink it. And some chemicals in this plant can actually make you feel full. So if you drink in the morning, you can skip meals. You don't feel hungry, for several hours. So it helps to lose your weight also, right? Some of our colleagues used, and within couple of weeks they lost a lot of weight because they don't eat like they ate before. Right, next. So yeah, these are very various, again they are also belongs to the cucumber family. Momordica cochinchiensis is a Vietnamese kind of gourd, and when I was exploring in Vietnam, I found these and I brought the seeds to Texas and start growing, and it is growing perfectly here, and I got fruits also. One fruit cost about $60, right? And it has the highest lycopene content in the plant kingdom, right? Now we know lycopene, right? Lycopene is a compound which helps, well, mainly for the males, right? The lycopene protect your prostate cancers, right? Prostate from the cancer. So you need to eat a lot of lycopene when you get older. But lycopene is a anti-cancer compound for the female also. But lycopene has a unique action on males, right? So the best known lycopene is coming from the tomato, right? And this one has 70% more lycopene than in tomato, right? So if you ever go to Vietnam, try their breakfast rice, right? So they eat rice for all 3 meals, right? The breakfast rice is red. Why it is red? They traditionally use the pulp of this fruit to cook with rice, right? So when you cook with rice, they add coconut milk, right? And make it so nice, and you get addicted to that taste and the texture. Yeah, it's so good, right? So that has become a general practice in their life. So when they cook morning rice, they always need the fruit. There's a big market for that. And you know, the prostate cancer incidences are very low in that part of the world because they get continuous intake of lycopene, right? Now we can grow it here, we can make, and we are actually doing some other studies looking at the seed oils and all that, because in those countries they don't have technologies like we have here to go deeper and study, right? So these plants are getting popular, and it is good for the eyesight also, right? Because lycopene can convert into vitamin A and then retinol in the eyes. And the other one is Momordica dioica, and I have seen this in Indian shops. They sell in the frozen section, and this plant now actually I am growing in Prairie View. The issue I have is the male and female plants are different, so you need to have both plants together to make the fruits. But we did it, we selected and we started propagating, and then we can even hand pollinate in the morning and make more fruits, right? So the bees are naturally pollinating, but if you take one male flower and touch all female flowers, you will get plenty of fruits, right? And this fruit is very expensive. The frozen section, about 200 grams, they sell about $9, right? But you can grow in your backyard. And the loofah, right? Everyone knows loofah, right? Loofah is used for the sponge, right? For your bath. But never knew that loofah has anti-cancer compounds and lowering your cholesterol, right? When you eat loofah in young stage, right? That will give you anti-cancer compound and also lower your cholesterol, and it has a lot of soluble fiber, right? So that helps to clean your colon, right? The soluble fibers are very, very good for the cleansing the colon system, especially when you eat a lot of meat, right? When we eat a lot of meat, the colon get hurt, right? And when you eat a lot of barbecue, right? What happened? When you make the barbecue, those char, right? That char part is, we love it, but that is the cancer causing compound there. But you know what we did? We always add sauces into it. So the tomato sauce you add has the lycopene that can block. So you can still enjoy the char, but don't forget to have enough tomato sauce, right? So that is why we marinate it. So that is our culture, right? But if you start eating without any sauce, you will get tummy problems, right? And the colon start, shrinking and making the polyps in the colon. All these things, right? Those never happen if you know what is going on, right? And also when you are charring it, don't make it too much, right? Just little bit char is fine, right? So that is why we always like to have our medium steak, right? So it just cook it enough, right? Not going further to make the protein degenerate and make the toxic compound. So there is a reason why we practice this, right? Okay. Moringa, right? So when I came to Mississippi, I was going through once in the Houston Hong Kong market and found moringa leaves they are selling. And I was amazed to see and asked the manager, where do you get moringa leaves? They said, oh, we are getting it from Philippines every week. Right? Then I thought, this plant is subtropical. It should grow here. So I start growing and it grow in Texas. Now Texas is growing a lot of moringa. Right? Now you see moringa market in the Amazon. Right? They sell moringa leaves, right? And those products, I don't know how good they are because they come in different colors, right? Some are just like sawdust, some are really green, right? But you can grow one moringa tree in your backyard. I have two in my backyard now, producing a lot of flowers and fruits, right? So in moringa, you can eat everything. Leaves, flowers, fruits, and even the bark is a good substitute for horseradish. In fact, it is called horseradish tree, right? So when you make pickles and all these things, you can use moringa bark or moringa root bark is even pungent than the stem bark. Right? So moringa can be grown here, and I will give you some plants. We are making more plants this year to grow here. You can have, and only thing you have to do is before the winter you have to mulch the bottom a little bit, right? So the top part will freeze, but the new suckers will come with more robust branches, and you can't kill it easily, right? So moringa leaves are the ones actually in Africa they used in every soup, every stir fry, everything, right? Because it gives load of proteins, load of micronutrients to the food. It is really funny. It originated from Africa, but it got more popular in the Asian part, right? In Asian part, they eat the pod than the leaves. So the moringa pod makes very nice soup, Very nice. Only thing is you have to scoop it out because you have to cut it into cylinders and cook it. And to eat it, you have to scoop out just like when you eat artichoke, like that. But it's so good, right? You can Google how to cook moringa pods. There are plenty of recipes. You will love it. And I tried one with tomato and coconut milk. It came out so good. Yeah. So I always ask the Peter to bring one day all these things together and have a demonstration here, so that we can you can truly taste it, and then you will start loving it, right? It is not only the taste, it is really healthy, right? Okay. And Arcticum lappa, or the burdock, you may have heard this. Burdock is very common in the northern part of US. It's a weed. Top part is toxic to the cattle, so they don't want to grow it, right? But the bottom part, the root, is medicinal for humans, right? If you go to HMart, small bunch of these roots are very long, right? Small bunch is about $6 there, right? You can slice them. Sometimes you sun dry, sometimes you pan roast it, and then you can brew tea out of it, right? Burdock root tea, or burdock, they sometimes make pickle out of it. In Japanese restaurant, it is a very common thing. So the good thing in burdock is burdock has a unique starch that is called inulin, right? Humans can't digest inulin, so why we eat burdock, right? That is the food for our microflora. Our gut bacteria needs inulin. So when you feed our gut bacteria with their favorite food, they will love. So when the food is good for them, they will reproduce more. They will make more babies. That makes the microflora growing much better. The microflora is there to help us because they want to keep their home clean and with the right security, right? So the colon is their home, right? They will not let any cancer to grow because that is their home, right? They prevent all these cancer causing molecules entering into the system, right? So when your gut flora is good, your whole digestive system is free from cancer, right? Now you may have heard very recently, different individuals have different microflora system, and now they can detect, looking at your feces, they can detect whether you have a tendency to get colon cancer or any cancer in your digestive system, because some unique microbes play a good role in protecting the system that is their home, right? So the MD Anderson started taking those bacteria from the poop, right, and injecting back to the cancer patients, and it worked, right? So now you see the poop is used in medicine now. Right? So the science is so advanced now, right? So that we can look at the role of microbes, right? Now we are talking about these medicinal plants. Sometimes now I have looked at the microbes in certain plants we eat, right? They are living inside the plant harmonically without harming the plant, and they are working together. And at the same time, sometimes they give good molecules to the plant, and those molecules are good for us. So the growing conditions of the plant, right, the soil condition, growing conditions are really important to maintain the microflora in the plants also, microflora in the vegetables, right, that helps more health benefits to the humans when you eat the plants with those different microbes, right? There are microbes harmful, but there are microbes working with us, right? We all have microbes in our system, right? But one to another, the microbes are different, right? So in a family, right, if one member comes to the new family, let's say someone married from another country or another region, and then what happened was the microbe system start getting changing, and they get into the same microbe system. If not, they will start developing the allergies, right? So this is really interesting how the human system adapting to the various microbes, and this part of the science was not explored 10 years ago or so, right? Because we didn't have ability to study these things. Now the technology is so advanced, right? They can take a breath sample and now detect the microbes in your gut, right? So the technology is advancing. We start learning new things. We are starting learning the complexities what we had, right, in the system, right? So all these things are interconnected in the culture, right, without knowing, right? You may have seen how different cultures greet each other. Kissing, handing, right, hugging, all these are because they are living in different microbial systems, right? So they are preventing certain microbes going on, right? So the most the cleaner, healthier the cultures just do the real contact, right? Others, right, the poorer parts of the world, you see, they just put the hands together, but they are not touching. The handshake, right? Now, of course, after handshake, we go and use the hand sanitizer, right? But that is the knowledge development. But in the beginning, we had all these cultures, right? There is a reason why we have it, right? Why we have different gestures like that, right? Okay. And the yams, right? Now, when it comes to the yams in US, when you call yam, it is sweet potato. Sweet potato is not the real yam. Real yam comes from Africa, right? And those are the real yams. And you see some of the yams, they are belongs to a group called Dioscorea, right? There are different kind of yams. Some are in Japan, they are called Japanese yam. Some are in Mexico, Mexican yam, white yam, yellow yam, right? Some are in Asia, purple yam. But all these yams we can grow in Texas. Now I have some growing in our farm, and the good thing is in this yam is the yam has unique compound which can mimic female hormones, right? So now you know when you reach into the menopause, pre-menopause symptoms, right, you get hot flashes, mood swings, right, skin wrinkling, all these, right, because you are losing your female hormone production. But if you start taking a piece of these yams every week, that will give you enough dose your body to think that I have hormone. So the rest of the system start working like before. So you don't need to go for the hormone replacement therapies. And also be in mindful The hormone replacement therapies we have today are giving temporary relief, but in the long run, it will give more complications to your system. You can get ovarian cancer, you may get your uterus removed, all these things, endometriosis, all these can be happen. But the reason is they don't care about it because it happens in your late age, right? It's okay even if you get a cancer in 70 years, but everyone likes to live a little longer, right? And so adding these into the system, right? If you go to HMart, you have all these kind of yams, right? I used to go there and buy this Japanese version. The Japanese one is so sweet, and you can make nice mashed potato from these yams. And the purple yam, they make ice cream out of it. They call ubi ice cream. And now there are so many ways. And the chips coming, I saw in Costco chip bags, they added these yam chips. But you know, you have a blend of yams, sweet potato, potato, and the wild yams, right? So you only get few wild yam chips there because it is expensive, but you can grow it. And when you Google wild yam cream, lotions are there, right, for your skin, right? It gives enough estrogen level to make your skin beautiful as before during your menopause phase, right? So that is there, right? It grows very well here, and only thing is how to use it. You can make porridge various ways. You can just boil and eat, right? And so yeah. Yeah, so it's, yeah, I mean that is the thing. So you can make pie in the place of sweet potato, yeah. And then there are so many other vegetables, leafy greens, and actually I checked today. Last time I brought gotukola. Gotukola is a brain stimulating plant, and I couldn't find it here. Maybe over harvested or something, but it should die. It shouldn't die. It will come back. If you Google gotukola, GOTUKOLA, you will find thousands of products, very expensive, and that improves memory. And this is belongs to celery family, tastes like celery, but more nutritious than celery, right? And when it comes to celery, there is another story. Have you seen celery with leaves in US market? No.
Well,
Sometimes, right? And have you seen carrot with leaves? You know what is the reason? But if you go to Asian countries, Africa, you see celery leaves. China, celery leaves, right? Carrot leaves. The reason is there is a compound in these leaves, very, very nutritious, very protective, right? But when it comes to the body, it comes to the blood vessels in the peripheral area, right? And that compound is sensitive to the sunlight, right? So the people with less melanin get blisters. So in the US market, they don't sell it, right? So, but for the darker skin people, you can eat it. It is really nutritious. So that is why when you go to the ethnic shops, they sell the carrots with leaves. Carrot leaves also has that. Celery leaves also has that, right? So that is where our genetics and the use of plants differentiated, right? So when you know that, you can find it and eat. Don't throw away the carrot leaves, right? And if you go to the ethnic shop, they sell carrots with leaves because those people eat it, right? Okay, and the spinach story. I always say this, right? We eat spinach here, right? We eat spinach here, and the spinach is full of calcium, iron, vitamins, right? And how we eat is we add cheese into it and dip it and eat, right? And this particular spinach species has oxalic acid, right? You add the spinach leaves into a salad, and then you add the feta cheese or parmesan or ranch or whatever, which is high calcium. What will happen? That oxalic acid is binding with the calcium and make calcium oxalate. Calcium oxalate is the hard stone, right? It won't dissolve in water. So once we start the first crystal, it started making it bigger and bigger. So ultimately you ended up getting the bladder stones, gallstones everywhere, right? Now you see where we miss knowing, but spinach is good. The way we use it in the food is not good, right? So sometimes the spinach you blanch it, right? The blanching reduce the calcium oxalate level, right? And then you will have the full or partial benefit. But there are so many other spinach species we can grow here. We grow Malabar spinach right here, right? We have it here. We have New Zealand spinach. We have Egyptian spinach. All these spinach are more nutritious than the spinach we eat here, right? And they produce more. They are easy to grow, right? So we are introducing these. So it's a time to change some of the dishes, right? You can make cheese dip with other spinach, not the American spinach, but you get the same taste and better nutrition, right? Egyptian spinach. They are call it Molokhia. It's very expensive, and it is very popular in the Middle Eastern countries and some part of the Mediterranean, and it grows very well. Dr. Pete Ampim grows it in Prairie View, and it's very expensive. If you grow, you can sell fresh leaves to a great price in those stores, right? They are looking for it.
Have you seen any in the store? Because I haven't seen.
Well, in the stores, they actually sell it in dried ground form. Yeah, and very rarely we see in the stores because people don't know we can grow it here. Yeah.
I have some in my garden.
Yeah, it's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have tried all these. Right, Peter. Microgreens, right? Getting popular. Why microgreens are more important? Those are teeny tiny, packed with the secondary metabolites, what we need. And they are more flavor, more colorful, right? They are better than the mature ones. Why? Microgreens are the ones actually when the plant seed is growing and exposing to the environment. So as a new life, right? So it takes the energy from the seeds and then start making their own food at the first time. So they have all the challenges from the outside, right? It can be stress from environment, microbes, pests, diseases, right? So they need to protect themselves. So they are full with defensive compounds, right? So if you add a few microgreens into your salad, that will give a good load of secondary metabolites. Those are really good, and you know, you don't need to eat big amount, right? If you eat, if you take a mature vegetable, you need to make it, let's say, um, um, mustard green. You need to make a big batch to serve the family, right? But the handful of mustard green microgreens gives the right nutrient needed for the whole family than the 1 kilogram of it, because the rest is the fiber, right? Sometimes the fibers are soluble, sometimes they are not even digestible. So the older people have bloating issues, right? And your system works harder to digest it, because when you get in the harder things into the system, they don't know, they just want to grind it and digest it, right? And they get tired, the system get tired, right? So when you get older, if you eat more microgreens, that makes your system more smooth, right? They don't get tired and seize, right? You don't get organ failure, right? So these are the things. So the microgreens are the new trend, not only to day, but for the space agriculture also. Space traveling, they can eat few, right? Now when you go to the top level restaurant, they just sprinkle few microgreens, different type, right? You think, oh, this is not enough. No, that is good enough to the meal, right? It's better than the steak you eat. That a small piece will give you the valuable compounds to the body. So growing microgreen is not that difficult, right? I have one plate in my kitchen. I have microgreens enough for the week, right? So you can just growing in the paper towel and harvest as you need it, right? So you just keep growing different ones, and when you mix it with the different species, your taste is better. You have bitterness, sweetness, spiciness all together, right? That means more secondary metabolites there, right? So the practicing it, yes. Secondary metabolites. So those are the group of chemical compounds made in the plants to communicate each other and also to defend from various biotic factors, abiotic factors, right? So we think plant don't talk. They talk through the chemicals, right? The good example I always say is when you cut the grass, you smell the grass, right? So the damaged grass releases that smell and tell the uncut grass to get ready, we are in trouble. So they get ready, they make different compounds, right? So yeah, sometimes you see when you start mowing first, right? The first cut grasses get more stress, and when you go through after a week, you see the behind ones are much better than your first touch, because that chemical gives signal to the uncut grass and ask them to be ready, right? So they get ready, they can adapt more than the first one, right? So plant are speaking each other, right? The same thing now we have found, microbes speak miles away through the chemical signaling. Yeah, there are very interesting science now discovering how the microbes are communicating each other miles away through one to another, giving the signal. So the chemical signaling is very good, right? So the same thing in our bodies also, the chemical signaling. We like each other, chemistry, we call chemistry, right? You feel compatibility, you feel liking it, right? And then we started using perfumes, right? We have perfumes, male attraction, female attraction, right? those are signaling, making you liking it, right? Okay. So there are microgreens you can explore even further. You can make cannabis microgreens, hemp microgreens. They have packed with flavonoids and terpenes, which is really good for our health, and things like fenugreek, cilantro. Cilantro microgreens are much healthier than the grown cilantro, right? They have unique packed chemistry. So when it comes to the microgreen has very wide taste than the mature greens, right? So when you have all these tastes together, you don't need to have external flavoring agents to your dish, right? No need to have, the adding various, synthetic things like MSG and all these things, right? Okay. And medicinal grains, right? So if you go to Sprout, right, go to the grain section, you will see weird things there. But take the name, take some sample, bring a few grams and try it first. And I tried everything there. Yeah, TAF to all these different things. And then I analyzed them also in the lab and found a lot of good stuff there. Because I have never tried it in my life. This, but people are eating in that part of the world and it is getting popular, right? Now you see chia seed were wild. Now we are using chia seed, right? Quinoa, right? Wild. We didn't use it. Now quinoa is one of the best the pseudo grain, right? So explore those, right? The information is available through the internet if you know the right name, right? And be curious and try, and you will find new ways of fixing it, right? I know, I mean, some are really like, experimenting, cooking, right? You will find it's very interesting. And how about, if you find all these things and make a unique restaurant, right? Right? I mean, people will like to eat healthy and live longer without any disease. And we can come and get the data from the people. Yes.
How do you use amaranth as like grains?
Yeah, they are grains actually. Amaranth, now, when it comes to amaranth here is a weed, right? Pig wheat, right? It's a weed. But when you go to the amaranth in Africa, they eat the seed. And seed is full of micronutrients. You can just pan roast it and add into your porridge or your cereal or any baking products, right? That will give enough micronutrients. Teff is little harder though, but if you eat spoonful of teff with your breakfast, you feel full for the whole day, right? So there is a reason why those cultures use these, right? And we never touched it here, right? So it's time for us to explore and go for, because through this evolution process, we have ruined our food habits, right? Industry has taken charge of our food habits, right? We became more fried, right? More processed, but we are not getting anything good, right? Okay. And it comes to the culinary medicinal plants, the lemongrass, curry leaf. Now lemongrass is getting popular here. You know what is good in lemongrass? Lemongrass has a compound which can enter to your system and goes in the bloodstream and find where you get your DNA damage, right? You know what is you get when you get your DNA damage? If DNA got damaged, you can either get cancer, or if it damage into an enzyme system, you get diabetes, heart failure, some kind of thing, right? So DNA damage is not good, right? And DNA damage happen right now in our system, because we are exposing into environmental toxins, pesticide, fungicides through our food, or the air we breathe, especially in Houston, the air is highly polluted. So you always exposed to various DNA damaging compound. Why we all don't get the cancer? Because it's our food. When we eat the good stuff, they can, prevent. Not only the lemongrass, the leafy greens, the vegetables we eat, they contribute in some way to help. But lemongrass is unique. They have a very unique compound. It has ability to find where the DNA get damaged and the repair that spot. So it's kind of welding the damaged DNA strand, right? So that means you will not get the cancer, right? So you can add lemongrass into your tea, your cooking, your jams and jellies to give the lemon flavor, and you can grow it in your backyard, right? And the other one is the curry leaf. Curry leaf also grows very well here, and if you add few sprigs to your stir fry, so aromatic and so flavorful, and it reduces your cholesterol level and also prevents certain cancers, right?
Is this where they get the curry powder from?
Actually, the curry powder they sell is a blend of various spices, and I analyze some of them, and they don't have the right ingredient, right? Especially be careful about the turmeric powder. If you are getting turmeric powder, I analyzed Costco, HEB, GNC. Most of them are the colored starch. It doesn't contain any turmeric.
What?
Yes, be careful. Or if it contains turmeric, it is not processed the right way. But the good thing is you can grow enough turmeric here. In my backyard I have plenty, right? So before the first frost I harvest them, dry them, grind them. That load is enough for 3 years. And they are so flavorful, right? Your hands get dyed when you harvest. Why we don't do it, right? Why we go for the fakes, right? Paying a lot of money and making all these industry people rich, and we are getting sick, right? And like that we have. If you go to Thai, Vietnamese restaurants or the shops, you see something called pandan leaf, right? You know jasmine rice, right? That smell of jasmine rice comes from the leaf extract. They are anti-cancer compounds. So pandan leaf they used in various jellies, sweets, and also they use it in breads, green bread, right? They use various ways to cook with pandan, right? The Thai Asian friends know how to use pandan leaves in day-to-day cooking. They just add a little. That gives enough compounds to prevent cancer. Yes. Hyperglycemia means high
What
blood.
does anti-hyperglycemic mean?
That means anti-diabetic. Yeah. So the glycemic, glycemic index. High glycemic index means you have high blood sugar, right? So certain plants make your blood sugar level down, like bitter gourd and certain medicinal herbs, right? And the crepe ginger here, right? If you go to Thai restaurants, the famous one here is tom yum soup, right? Tom yum soup main ingredient is kaffir lime leaves, and this kind of ginger, right? And if you go to the store, they charge a lot for that piece of ginger. But plenty growing in our front yard, right? Those variegated ginger, you dig it and get the root and slice it and put it in your soup. That is crepe ginger. Here we have the ornamental version, but the chemistry is there. Right? So, but the market sells crepe ginger for a small piece, $12. Right? So you may grow in this plant without knowing its medicinal properties in your yard. Those yellow green ginger plant, dig it, you will find.
How do you spell crepe? C-R-E-P-E?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I think we missed the Lolat.
Yeah, Lolat is the next one.
Lolat and seashell.
Yeah, Lolat is a black pepper family, the leaves, right? So Lolat has a unique combination in that culture. Vietnamese culture, they eat a lot of pork. But have you seen obese Vietnamese people? They are very slim, but they eat a lot of pork and they eat all the parts of pig, right? And eat pork skin and everything. The reason is whenever they cook the meat, they wrap the meat with these leaves. And we found there is a very, very strong compound in these leaves preventing the absorption of fatty acid in the food. So, no matter how much fat even you drink a bottle of oil, it won't absorb into the system. See the culture without knowing. Yes?
I didn't hear which leaves you were talking about.
Lolat.
There's a few pages before. Three.
What page?
Culinary medicinal plants. The big leaf, the green leaf, it is expensive in the market. Sometimes they sell, but if you want, I can bring a lot of plants there. It's growing like a weed here.
What did you say about black pepper and Lolat?
Yeah, they are same family, same genus actually, same group. So you feel like peppery taste in the leaf. Shisho is another plant very popular in Japanese and Korean culture. They use it in sushi and various soups, salads they make, and it can be grown very well. And it's a nice ornamental plant also for the yard, and it has a lot of antiviral, antibacterial compound. So when they eat raw fish, they take shisho leaves because if the fish is contaminated, right, they are the medicine, right, that can kill. So that is why when they eat raw, the oysters and all that, they eat with shisho, right, and wasabi, right. And here you don't eat the real wasabi. Here we eat is the colored horseradish. The real wasabi is expensive, and it needs to grind right there because only few minutes it retains the spiciness, right? Because when it grinds, only the chemical reactions happens and give you the right punch, right? So to eat the real wasabi, you need to go to the top end restaurant or Japan. But that will blow everything when you eat a little. Yeah. And then medicinal spices, try to use these. There are a lot. Cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, all these, mace, all these are there, right? Try to use them in various preparations and see the difference than the store-bought, the flavoring mix, right? They have a lot of health benefits. And when it comes to the cinnamon, I always give the story. I am the one actually discovered that when I came to US, I started looking at the cinnamon products right? You don't know. We were feeding our kids with cinnamon buns that can hurt their liver, right? One cinnamon bun contain about 20% higher than the recommended dose of that toxic compound in cinnamon, right? So there is that cinnamon is the cheaper cinnamon called Saigon cinnamon or cassia cinnamon. Still they are selling it though, right? They issued, FDA issued after my paper, they issued the ban, right? But when it comes to the powdered cinnamon, they mix because it's cheaper. The real cinnamon is the Ceylon cinnamon, thin sticks. Look for the thin sticks. Fiesta carries it, right? Ceylon cinnamon. Those are very mild. Ceylon. Ceylon. Actually, Ceylon is the name of the country where I am coming from. It was a British colony. At that time, they call it Ceylon. Now it is Sri Lanka. Right? So, this plant is growing naturally there. So, it is called Cinnamomum zillenicum, or now they call Cinnamomum verum. And those cinnamon don't have any toxic compound there. They are very mild, sweet, but you need a little more to grind if you make it. But if you take stick, you can add a small piece to your tea. That gives good amount of cinnamaldehyde to prevent you from the blood sugar and the anti-cancer. Yes, ma'am.
Will you spell the two non-toxic cinnamon?
Ceylon cinnamon. Or
Ceylon.
Ceylon.
And the second one is verum.
Yeah, the scientific name is Cinnamomum verum, or previously it was called Cinnamomum zillenicum.
How do you spell zillenicum?
Zeylanicum. So zillenicum means the Ceylon.
And the cinnamon, what was the Latin name? Cinnamon?
Cinnamomum. Cinnomum.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Latin names are little confusing and hard to remember. But if you know the Ceylon cinnamon, cassia cinnamon, or Saigon cinnamon, so those are toxic ones. Don't go for it. And if you are cinnamon favorite, don't go for the ground cinnamon. There is a tendency you can get the wrong stuff into it because it's cheaper. Take a small batch of the cinnamon stick and make your own. That makes everything good, right? That cinnamon is really good, very healthy, and adding into day-to-day dose will help to keep your blood pressure, blood sugar, and also cancer preventive. That's it. So that's it. There are so many. Actually, I just took a lot of things together, but there are so many beverages you can make. Now, if you drink turmeric water, make sure the water should have little bit of oil in it, because curcumin absorbs into your body in oil environment, right? That is why when they cook, they put turmeric into the hot oil, right? The chefs, there is a reason why they heat the oil first and put the spices, so that they extract the active ingredients.
Why do they say to add black pepper when you ingest turmeric?
Well, there's a certain compounds in black pepper, especially the oils. The pepper has certain the oils that will make them bioavailable easily. So turmeric alone won't absorb. Right? Don't get confused. Don't drink those turmeric water. Right? In the stores, they are no use. Right? You need to add into anything with oil. Right? It can be salad dressing or something. You can add a little bit, right? Or you can cook with it, right? The little bit of heat enhance the bioavailability of the curcumin.
What kind of oil do you use for turmeric?
Well, I use you mean in my how? I use olive oil. If you eat raw, right? Don't use olive oil for the frying. It is not good. And I have sesame oil. Sesame oil gives you a lot of chromium, right? Chromium is very essential element for the fine tuning of the enzyme system, right? And then avocado oil, it's really good. And canola oil is safe for the frying, right? Canola, rapeseed oil.
You use which one for the turmeric? Which oil?
Any oil is good. Any oil is good because you need to no need to even have the oil, but just say when you are eating an avocado, you can sprinkle some turmeric because avocado has oils, right? So you don't need to have oil per se, but any oil substance, right, will help.
Can you mix turmeric with cow's milk?
Yeah, of course.
And does that have
No,
oil?
actually, that was now Indian culture. They add the pieces of turmeric into the cow milk when they are boiling the cow milk, because they get the cow milk, fresh one, and then they pasteurize it by boiling. In the boiling process, they add few slices of.
If you use turmeric with cow's milk, do you need to add any oil?
No need, because it has oils.
And then just to clarify on the cinnamon, you said Saigon and Cassia cinnamon.
They are the bad ones.
Bad ones.
Yes.
And the good ones are Ceylon.
Ceylon cinnamon. And the bad ones, you can, if you see the bulk, they are very thick pieces. Right? The good one always come in small cylinders. They are very thin, skinny bark, dried bark. And they are brown in color. The bad one is very dark in color. And the bad one is more flavorful, more aromatic. Yes, ma'am.
Could you explain some of the benefits of turmeric seeds and cloves?
The turmeric.
I'm sorry, fenugreek seeds and cloves.
The fenugreek is a very good seeds. You can, it's very cheap in Indian stores. You can get a teaspoonful of fenugreek seeds and put some water and let it sit for overnight and drink the water in the morning. That will reduce your blood cholesterol levels and clean up your arteries, and it's good for your heart health or the circulatory system. The bad part is when you drink those, your body sweat will have the turmeric smell. So do it in weekends and have bath. Right? So that is why you see sometimes Indian people, Pakistani people, they eat a lot, all these, and their sweat is very smelly. So you see body smell.
Will chlorophyll help with that smell?
Chlorophyll, actually, chlorophyll not really helpful,
Okay.
but indirectly when it breaks down, it is helpful to get the carotenoids, vitamin A and all that, right? But we get a lot of chlorophyll from every plant species we eat. Yeah.
This is more of a curiosity question.
Yes.
Going back to the beginning, you mentioned about plants get stressed just like how we get stressed, and how it can have effect on us potentially. And so I'm curious if there's any study or anything that you know if there's a correlation between the level of stress that gets. I want to know if there's any correlation between the level of stress that a plant goes through and how that affects the amount of nutrients one puts in their body, or if there's any effect like that.
Of course.
Oh.
Actually, there are certain chemicals are higher when you get stress, when the plant gets stress, right? Some compounds are good for us. Most of them are actually, right? The good example is cannabis, right? When they make cannabis, they let the plants to grow and then they stress with lights, and it gives so much of the flavors into the cannabis buds, right? So they thought, the cannabis smokers thought, the effect comes from the THC. No, it comes from the terpenes, the all aromatic ones. Those are the one make you happy. Those are the one make you sedate and calming, right? So the THC is the one narcotic that makes the psychosis. So they went in the wrong way using this plant for the narcotic part and leaving the good medicinal part out. So now we are researching on that to remove the narcotic gene and get into the medicinal properties of it. So when the plant stress, it gives more flavor, sometimes more crispiness, right? We have done it. Actually, I use some of the cannabis terpenes isolated and release them into the leafy green growing systems, right? That makes leafy greens more flavorful and crispier. That means, just like the grass cutting story, right? Those chemicals are the defense chemicals. So when you release those chemicals into the other crops, they start developing their defense mechanism. Defense mechanism is making more harder tissues and more spicier chemicals in it. So those are the ones actually good for us. So basically, the agriculture can fine-tune with this smart agriculture system to give the best nutrients of the plants by changing their environment. Because when the plant is growing happily, it doesn't produce all these compounds because they don't spend energy to make those defense molecules, right? When you have good fertilizer, right, it will grow happily, right? And it won't produce, it doesn't need to produce all the defense mechanism. Just the same way, now have you noticed when you disturb the plant, it starts sometimes non-flowering one start flowering. Have you noticed that? Right? When you disturb the plant, if you have a plant without any fruit, you disturb it. Suddenly you see flowers are coming. Why? They think, oh, I'm going to die. I need to survive. I need to make my generation, next generation, so they will start, right? You ring bark the fruit trees, right? Ring barking means you avoid the nutrients to the top part, right? So the top part thinks, oh, I'm in trouble. I'm going to lose my life. I need to reproduce. So start flowering, fruiting, right? So the science we use to make food, more food for us by using that. So these chemicals, now it is the new science, those messaging chemicals, understanding the messaging molecules and release them into the agricultural crops. If you are growing in a greenhouse system, you can just release them minute amounts that is good enough for them to understand. And sometimes I have tried it in Cleburne Eden Green system, and they showed me the pictures. That area, the leafy green started getting purplish. That means more anthocyanin is produced there, right? And they are more crispier and sturdier plants. So the defense mechanism. So we feel good when the salad green is crunchy, right?
How do you spell ring barking?
Ring, R-I-N-G. Ring barking means if you have a fruit tree growing continuously without bearing any fruit, the farmers traditionally what they do is they go and remove the bark, a ring of bark in the stem, in the bottom, right? Suddenly it start flowering.
I want to go back to fenugreek. If you have a bag of dried fenugreek, how long does it last?
You can keep it. It never expire. Those are seeds.
And
The chemicals will retain for years.
how do you use it?
You can boil it. You can boil with water, or you can soak in water and drink. Boil. Some people actually boil fenugreek and few cloves of garlic and drink once a week to keep their heart health, right? And also you can make fenugreek microgreen in your kitchen. Get some seeds and let it germinate and cut the tops and use it in your salad. And very cheap but highly medicinal species.
When you harvest your fenugreek, where do you pick it from? Where do you cut it from?
Fenugreek can be eaten in both ways. The mature leaves, you can see it in Indian shops sometimes, the bunch, right? But microgreen you can just cut from the middle of the stem. Yeah, you can give a haircut. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Also, how much can you eat at a time?
It doesn't toxic.
Okay.
Yeah, you can as much as add as much as.
We're going to take the last question.
Hi, that was a great presentation. Thank you. I had a question about how, lemongrass was mentioned on here, and the other day I went to this, essential oil workshop, and so a lot of plants are made into essential oils. Even turmeric, I learned. So, what are the benefits of essential oils? Let's say you don't have lemongrass, but you're inhaling the lemongrass that's in the essential oil, it's coming out of the diffuser.
Yeah.
Are you getting any benefits?
Actually, this is a very, very good question. A lot of science is going on, right? We use perfumes, right? Essential oils are the perfumes, right? And then we have something called aromatherapy. That is where we use essential oils. We have candles. We have, air fresheners. All these are with essential oils, right? Essential oils are the ones actually make us feeling good, right? Happier, calm, right? And relaxing, all these things. But essential oil alone not always gives good benefit. For example, very recently they found the lavender essential oil inhaling makes you weight gain. You know what? Yeah, lavender essential oil, if you inhale too much, right? If you use it in your bath gel, whatever, the shampoos, it mimics your estrogen and it makes you weight gain. But later they found it is only happen in some groups and their genetics are different. So the way you accept it, just like some people like lavender and one can, I don't like lavender smell, right? I don't like that perfume, right? There is a reason, because their genes are not matching. They don't have the accepting gene in the system. So the aroma, all these are well linked into our system. There is nothing harm, but these are the consequences we have when we are isolating the molecules, right? It can give some adverse effect. But when you use the raw lavender oil, right? It doesn't give that thing because it has the interfering compounds also. But now the industry although they say it's natural lavender oil, no way. You can't sell the natural lavender oil into that price. One of my colleagues is doing the lavender oil, the aromatic oil research. US market is full of fake aromatic oils. They are all synthetic. So you have to be very careful when using all these, right? So use it moderately, right? The single, if you use the natural one, that's fine. I mean, I used to harvest my lemongrass before the first frost, and I take the bottoms and freeze them. The rest of the leaves goes to my oven in 100 degrees. Your whole home looks, very happy with lemonine, right? So something like that, right? Use some natural, because always they find the cheaper alternatives for the naturals, and they want to make money. Now you see all these herbal products in the market. Sometimes they sell sawdust, colored sawdust, saying this is good for this, right? We don't know. There is no control. FDA doesn't control those, right? Those are just over-the-counter products. So you need to be aware of these things to use, right?
You said 100 degrees Celsius or
Fahrenheit, yeah. And also the same thing, I have 2 jasmine bushes in front of my home. That gives the best jasmine to the whole home, right? We can grow it here. Jasmine. Yeah. And the flowers, when they fall, you can dry and add into your tea. That makes you calm.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I have a jasmine.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Try that. Yeah. The famous jasmine tree comes from that flower. Yeah. Yeah. And also I brought some seeds. You can try them. They are the mixtures of different salad greens. So you can start harvesting from the baby level to the top level, and they are different tastes. So mix them together and enjoy. Right.